Sometimes, reclaiming what's rightfully yours means facing the darkest moments head-on. For John Fogerty, the legendary voice behind Creedence Clearwater Revival, redemption did not come easy. It was forged through years of struggle, heartbreak, and ultimately, profound triumph. And this is the part most people miss. The fight wasn't just about music, but about identity and survival itself. Fogerty's latest project, a re-recording of Creedence Clearwater Revival's greatest hits for the album Legacy, the Creedence Clearwater Revival Years, represents a bold move akin to Taylor Swift's famous act of musical reclamation. But here's where it gets controversial. Is it simply nostalgia, or a long-overdue act of artistic justice? For Fogerty, these new versions are the final chapter in a decades-long battle to reclaim the songs that once defined him, but which he lost through bruising legal disputes with Saul Zaentz, the former owner of the Creedence catalog. In a case that beggars belief, Zaentz once tried and failed to sue Fogerty for supposedly copying his own songwriting, claiming that Old Man Down the Road plagiarized Run Through the Jungle. 2 years ago, the tide finally turned. Fogerty secured the publishing rights to his own Creedence compositions, a moment he described as liberation after decades spent as a kind of prisoner of war. In a candid conversation with Rolling Stone, Fogerty opens up about the journey that led him to this moment, reflecting on the highs and lows of his storied career, the influences that shaped his songwriting, and his thoughts on legacy, mortality, and what really matters in life. At the depths of those legal battles, Fogerty felt so disconnected from his past, he refused to play his classic hits live, a decision that might have seemed unthinkable for any other artist. Here's an unexpected twist. It was none other than Bob Dylan who nudged him back onto the stage, reminding him that if he didn't sing Proud Mary, people would forget its true origin and chalk it up to Tina Turner. The implication? Sometimes, even legends need a helping hand to reclaim what's theirs. When asked about finally regaining control over his music, Fogerty revealed the emotional toll involved. "I wrote the songs, and I've always been fiercely proud of them, even when the public or the legal system turned against me." He admits to the bittersweet frustration of not being a household name, despite creating iconic music that shaped generations. He even describes the symbolic importance of reclaiming his beloved Rickenbacker guitar, a constant companion through Creedence's greatest moments, which he once gave away in a moment of deep despair, hoping a fresh start could banish his troubles. But as he now knows, giving away a piece of your history is never that simple. Re-recording the old tracks proved unexpectedly challenging. Fogerty didn't just step back into the studio. He had to mentally time travel to his younger self, channeling the mindset and raw energy that powered him in his early 20s. His wife Julie noticed the transformation, the intense focus that came over him as he tried to recapture the spirit of 1968 and 1969, the very years when he was making history, often alone, without the support systems enjoyed by other bands like the Beatles. Let's talk about 1969. Few artists ever achieved the blazing creative output Fogerty displayed that year, releasing 3 classic albums, Bayou Country, Green River, and Willie and the Poor Boys, in just 12 months. What's the secret to this explosive creativity? Fogerty attributes it to an almost obsessive dedication, staying up late, writing relentlessly, and working harder than anyone else around. But here's a question to spark some debate. Did this level of perfectionism ultimately lead to burnout? Is creative genius worth the personal cost? Controversy has always surrounded the chemistry within Creedence Clearwater Revival, especially given Fogerty's well-known disputes with his former bandmates. But he is quick to acknowledge the unique synergy among the group. Tom Fogerty, Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, and how each individual contributed an irreplaceable touch to their distinctive sound. Many people think any musician could have replaced them, but that's simply not true. The soul of those records came from all of us chasing the same dream. As a child in 1953, Fogerty fantasized about being in a band, imagining his grown-up self as a black man. A remarkable vision given the racial climate of the era. He explains that the music he loved most was rhythm and blues, deeply soulful and expressive, and his heroes were often black artists, like Willie Mays. It's a perspective that raises important questions about the boundaries and ethics of cultural expression. Is it possible for a white artist to authentically sing the blues? Fogerty confesses to ongoing self-awareness around this issue, admitting that sincerity must always guide any such attempt. He's quick to reject anything that feels inauthentic or pandering. Legacy looms large when you're a musical icon. Fogerty jokes about the finality of time and mortality, poking fun at TV commercials that list diarrhea and death as side effects, a humorous yet sobering reminder that even rock legends aren't immune to the realities of aging. He says that the moment he finished writing Proud Mary, he immediately recognized its classic status, sensing that his songs would far outlive him. After that miraculous year, the hard times began. Fogerty candidly admits to feeling burned out, driven almost to the breaking point by the pressure to keep delivering hits as the spotlight threatened to move on. It was like being alone in a canoe in the middle of the ocean, he says, with nothing guiding him except his own determination and talent. Could this relentless drive have been both his greatest asset and his biggest drawback? Remarkably, Fogerty's voice has remained powerful over the decades. The secret? He's learned to sing with controlled grit, screaming musically, not destructively. He warns that pouring unresolved emotional pain directly into your vocals can tear your voice apart. Years of refining his craft, including managing stress and diet to prevent voice-damaging reflux, have allowed him to avoid the fate of many singers whose instrument deteriorates with age. But how does John Fogerty want to be remembered? He's refreshingly candid about his battles with alcoholism and depression, calling himself a drunk and describing years ruled by misery and a lack of hope. Meeting his wife Julie marked the turning point, offering him the love and partnership he needed to reclaim his life. For a long time, I felt like a prisoner of war, locked in solitary confinement. My only strategy for staying sane was to keep working, yet the music I made in those darkest days lacks joy. A fact that still pains me when I listen back. Fogerty credits Julie not only with helping him recover, but with becoming a crucial part of his artistic and professional life. I'm the luckiest man in the world, because real life, real happiness,